right, I'm here in Lynn, Massachusetts, which is a suburb of Boston. I'm going to do a short video today on my ancestor, my 8th great grandfather, Richard Haven, who came here from the east side of England in 1644. I'm going to give you a little history of him and of course of Lynn, Massachusetts. Lynn, as you see the sign behind me, was settled by a group of Puritans out of Salem, Massachusetts in 1629. And Richard Havens came here. It's not certain whether he was married before he left England or after he got here, but he got here 1644 and had his first child here that was born in February of 1645. And he lived several miles from here, which we're going to go to that spot also. But Lynn was known originally as a manufacturing town for shoes. My 8th great grandfather, Richard Haven, was a farmer, and I'll get more into that in a little bit. But now we're going to kind of show you around the place a little, and then we're going to head to where his farm was. All right, so Richard Havens had his firstborn son in 1645, which his name was Nathaniel. And as an adult, Nathaniel would leave here and resettle in Framingham, which is a few miles from here, Framingham, Massachusetts. And that's where he would establish his home. And he had a son named Jonathan. And then Jonathan had a son named Hezekiah Haven, which was my 5th great grandfather. And Hezekiah lived in Framingham also, and he fought with in the American Revolution with a Massachusetts regiment. And then eventually he had a son, Hezekiah Haven, who later on moved to Vermont, Windsor, Vermont, and he fought against the British in the War of 1812. And eventually he settled in Pennsylvania, and then just before 1840 settled in Butler County, Kentucky. That's where my Havens roots came to Kentucky. So we'll get more into that, the Kentucky story, once we get to the next stop, which is the Richards Havens farm at Flax Pond. And we'll be back in just a second for that. All right, we're here at Flax Pond. This is where Richard Haven settled in 1644. Okay, I'm going to flash forward here now. I know I've been mentioning a lot of Hezekiah Havenses. The first Hezekiah Havens was a great-grandson to Richard Haven, was born in Framingham, Massachusetts, and he's the one that fought in the American Revolution with the Massachusetts regiment. That Hezekiah moved to Vermont at some point in the late 1700s and actually owned a lumber mill up in Windsor, Vermont. And he had a son, the second Hezekiah Havens, who was born in 1792 and fought in the War of 1812 with a Vermont regiment. His wife's name was Sylvia, and before 1840 they moved to Butler County, Kentucky. Okay, Butler Countyans, pay attention, because if you're wondering where your Havens roots came from, this is it right here. 1644 Richard Haven, Flax Pond. Flax Pond is a 71-acre lake. I think it was created by an ocean estuary, hurricane or something like that created this lake. But anyway, back to the second Hezekiah Haven and Sylvia that came to Butler County. They came to Butler County previous. They had lived in New York, and that is where the third Hezekiah Haven was born, along with the rest of his siblings. From New York, Oneida County, New York, they went to Pennsylvania and then to Butler County just before 1840. Okay, then the third Hezekiah Haven, he married Sarah White, which was a daughter of Lewis White. So all you Whites in Butler County, you all go back to Lewis White, and then before Lewis, his father was Henry White and Mary Logston, which a lot of you, I'm going to apologize now because I don't know the maternal sides of all these great grandparents, because I'm going strictly off the top of my head. I didn't bring any records with me. Okay, so the third Hezekiah Haven married Sarah White, daughter of Lewis White, and they had their firstborn child, which was my second great grandfather, Francis Marion Havens, named after the swamp fox Francis Marion. When Frank was 4 years old, his mother, or 3 years old, his mother Sarah died of pneumonia, and the third Hezekiah Havens, his father, remarried with Sarah Rogers, whose family was from South Carolina. Okay, and so Frank Havens, my second great grandfather, had 10 half brothers and sisters, which there's thousands of descendants of those Havens plus of Frank Havens' descendants. And I just wanted to show you all and show everybody that descends from Richard Havens, especially the kinfolk of mine that live in Butler County, Kentucky. Being that I was up here doing a Boston food tour, New York City, eating food for my YouTube channel, I decided to do a second video on my Havens roots here in Lynn, Massachusetts. And I hope y'all enjoyed the little background. And it's a very pretty area here. Actually, the town of Lynn is a little outdated, but it is right there on the ocean, very picturesque waterfront. And this area of town is actually pretty nice. A lot of expensive homes surrounding this lake. If you ever get in the Boston area, I'd say it's worth your time. Get out this way. We're just the next town over from Salem, which we're also visiting there too. So I hope you enjoyed the little history lesson on the Havens family. Thank you for joining me.